the advisors and mentors that you have are absolutely necessary and will be key to helping you grow over time. Set goals and milestones and timelines for what they want to build.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. So in today's video, I'm super thrilled to introduce Yash Daftari. He's a great friend of mine and he's the CEO of FanBasis. So Yash, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So let's learn more about the story of FanBasis. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, founded FanBasis back in late 2020. Basically, FanBasis is a marketplace where celebrities, athletes, influencers, and artists can sell experiences to their fans. Now, what does that mean? Using our platform, a fan can purchase anything from a one-on-one video call with Dennis Rodman to a cooking lesson on how to make the perfect filet mignon with a master chef winner, or a follow back on Instagram from their favorite, bachelor star or social media influencer. So, and with some of the larger celebrities and influencers and athletes we work with, we also host in-person events. For example, we've done a steak dinner night with Dennis Rodman before. We've done, sit ringside at a WWE fight and get lunch with Mandy Rose, the WWE champion. And we have a lot of cool ones in the pipeline, which I can't reveal at the moment, but it's going to be some interesting stuff coming in the future. So, at the end of the day, basically what we built is a marketplace and the infrastructure for these celebrities and stars, essentially, any talent, anyone that has monetizable skills or a fan following, to be able to sell any sort of digital product, service, experience, sweepstakes, membership, or merchandise using our tool set. So it's essentially the all-in-one platform to monetize off of someone's personal brand or fan following.
That's awesome, wow. And just spinning off that, what inspired you to create FanBasis? Where did you see a need for it in the app market? Where did that inspiration come from?
Yeah, for sure. So I've always been very involved in the startup space ever since high school. I actually started my first company when I was in high school as a junior. Ended up exiting that in college, and then I worked in venture capital for about 3 years, which was a great experience. And the most valuable part of that is it gave me the ability to work with several successful startups that are already at that Series A level or Series B level. And not only was I able to connect with them, learn from them, learn about their journey, what made them successful, but I was also able to see problems that were kind of arising at those points, how they overcame them, and saw some situations where people weren't able to overcome those problems. Right, so that was a great learning lessons for me. And during the pandemic, I basically was making the decision of, am I going to continue working in venture capital with the end goal of starting my own startup, or is there an opportunity in the market right now that I can take advantage of? And I was kind of in the right place at the right time, was doing some market mapping of the celebrity monetization space, and I realized there was a couple big players in the space, but there wasn't, anyone really innovating it at the moment. The only players there were kind of like Cameo, Patreon, things like OnlyFans, and they broke open the market on a high level, but there was a lot more that can be done with it. And at the same time, during the pandemic, social media platforms were really blowing up. Everyone was in their house using, and especially TikTok. And I would see people that would have 1 million followers or 1.5 million followers on TikTok who kind of became famous, overnight in the last 2 weeks, and they would have their Venmo or a Cash App link in their bio. And that's when I really, that's when the light bulb really went off in my head, and I was like, wow, if I had 1.5 million followers, I can guarantee you I have at least a 6 or 7 figure business built out of this. Right. And I'm sure it would be the same with you as well. But none of these people know how to monetize their fame, and half of them blew up kind of out of nowhere and are now, like celebrities in a sense, kind of micro celebrities. And that's when, I basically went ahead and interviewed a couple dozen, influencers at first. That's kind of what our focus was when we started. And noticed that there was a problem in the market. These guys, 88% of influencers were making less than $50,000 a year, which is insane because, of the way that they kind of show and portray their lifestyle on social media. They get a lot of free stuff, handed to them. Their expenses are lowered by that, but at the end of the day, it's not even really a full-time salary that they're making from what they're doing, and they all want to be doing that full-time. So that's where, the concept of FanBasis really arose, and, I said, okay, let's create a platform where, these people can essentially build a business out of their brand and start monetizing off of what they've accomplished so far.
Right. No, that's awesome. I mean, so I mean, even I know you mentioned TikTok and so forth, but were there any apps that really inspired the creation, like specific apps on the App Store that you saw that could potentially be competitors or so forth, and you saw like a gap in the market? Like, was there any apps that kind of spoke out to you when you guys were first creating fan bases?
For sure. I would say one of the inspirations was, this isn't an app necessarily, but the All In Challenge that Fanatics was hosting. And, I don't know if you remember that. Basically, they got a bunch of celebrities to do, these experiences to raise money for COVID. And it'd be like, for example, Eli Manning, auctioning off his Super Bowl Corvette, or, a meet and greet with Tom Brady, hang out with Lil Wayne, things like that. And within a month, they raised $30 million. So I was like, okay, there are people who are absolutely willing to pay for these experiences. And then on top of that, Cameo was really blowing up as well. So Cameo, for those of you who don't know, is basically a platform that, you can buy a personalized video shout out for someone's birthday from, a celebrity. It's essentially like a 15 second, or 30-second video that you get. And they're the ones that really broke open this market of the personalized experiences. Besides them, apps like Patreon created the whole membership flow, and the most crowded part of this whole competitive landscape is that membership structure, where you got things like Patreon, OnlyFans, Fanfics, they were kind of in their own lane, and the things like Cameo that were doing the personalized experiences. They said, wow, like you could take Cameo really to the next level there, and that's where FanBasis kind of came into play.
Right. Wow. That's interesting. I mean, so what is the unique, selling proposition for FanBasis, and why is that?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, we take a lower percentage than most apps on the market, or most companies that you can work with in our space. And then on top of that, we've built out the largest tool set for monetization of any platform on the internet. Like I said, any sort of digital experience, product, service, memorabilia, signed merchandise, sweepstakes, or membership, you can do in one spot. We're essentially, the way we pitch it to some of our clients is we're the link tree killer, where you don't need to have a link for your personal website, your Cameo, your Patreon, your merchandise store, and whatever the hell else you're promoting. You can put all of that on one spot, which will not only increase your conversions, because if one of your fans goes and clicks on one of the links in your bio, it's unlikely that they're going through all 6 of them. Instead, you can put all of that in one spot and be able to show your offerings in a cohesive way and be able to monetize off your fans better.
So what was the app development process like when, during the early portions of, developing the app? What was that like?
Yeah, so if I could define it in 2 words, I'd say it's a learning process. But essentially, it was a little tricky at first. We basically raised a family and friends round to get our MVP built. And we went through the cycle of, we created an MVP, we created a beta. We're still currently technically in our beta. Our product was growing too quickly, so we're in the process of doing a whole redevelopment right now, relaunching everything, which will be exciting in about 2 weeks.
That's exciting.
The look and feel of it's going to be completely different. I'm super excited about it. Adding in some, AI as well to really be able to personalize the experiences for specific people, things like that. So it's going to be unique. We're also adding in augmented reality functionality,
wow.
So you can do, instead of getting a video call where you're doing a cooking lesson, you can get that cooking lesson, in your kitchen from that celebrity, or a workout routine, that's pre-recorded, and you can have that person doing a workout in your living room or at your gym, and just prop them up on your phone. So, some exciting stuff coming in the pipeline. But yeah, to kind of take a step back, when we first started, we've gone through a couple of different development teams. We kind of with the outsource model. Now we've got a CTO who's an absolute beast on our team, and he's an architect as well. And we're building out, the in-house engineering of our platform. Basically, it was a lot slower when we started than what I imagined. All the deadlines were kind of being missed, and that was frustrating at first. And then I kind of over time started learning more and more about how to work with development teams, how to really optimize the process. And we had to go through a couple teams to find the right people and right partners on the development and tech side that we could grow with. Looking back on it, I think I would have been able to build what we built today, almost 3 years at FanBasis, within 12 months, just with the knowledge that I've gained over time. And my CTO, he's built a business that's close to worth $1 billion, and he's managed over 150 developers himself, and spent over $15 million in development too.
That's incredible.
And he was telling me the same thing. He's like, with my business, he's like, I could have achieved where I'm at in half the time, just knowing what I know now. And that's where he really brought a lot of value to our team as well, saying, I've already gone through, where FanBasis is in 4 years from now, and I can, help you really make that process much more efficient, because I've made all the mistakes, I've burned millions of dollars, making those mistakes. Now you don't have to.
Right.
And we, can grow this much more quickly. And as you've seen, we have been growing really, really quickly over the past few months.
That's fantastic. Wow. And just to kind of spin off from what you're saying, with AI and augmented reality, where do you see, the potential with that? With any sort of app, like if a viewer wants to make, an app of their own, like where do you see the synergies with all of that? Like, what is the future of that?
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things is, especially after working in the VC space, I never wanted to be one of those guys that just shoehorns in functionalities just so that we can say, oh, we're doing, we have AI and AR, because you'll see a bunch of, dog shit startups coming out right now, left and right, that are just using like ChatGPT with an extra layer on top and a new UI, and calling it a whole new business, which is like, it's not really a business, it's not going to be sustainable. And some of them are raising millions of dollars, a lot of them aren't. But at the end of the day, I wanted to use this functionality in the best way possible to really provide value. Like with the augmented reality stuff, there's nothing like that on the market right now. Like, it's a really unique experience. At the end of the day, I want FanBasis to be a playground for fans, where people are coming to our site because they don't have plans on a Friday night, and they're like, what can I do? Are there any celebrities I can interact with? Is there an experience that I can buy, and things of that nature, right? So that's kind of where I wanted the AR and AI to come into play, where with the whole redevelopment process we're doing right now, say, you, for example, you come to our website, right now you'll see, the same exact creators that my mom would see on our website. And that's not how it should be. We should be able to say, okay, Ishan came to our site and he clicked on someone that was a professional photographer and, is an influencer on TikTok for their videography, right? And now the whole site is kind of tailored towards experiences that are more similar to that. And whatever other data we've been able to kind of gather about yourself, we can utilize that to just personalize and tailor the whole experience of using our platform, so that you're not, you're getting shown stuff that's more interesting to you. And obviously from our end, at the end of the day, that drives more conversions and higher sales. The AR stuff is more, obviously we didn't, that's not something that we was absolutely necessary, but the reason we're implementing that is because our celebrities are really excited to do that. They want to be able to offer these kinds of things to their fans. They've never seen a platform, and they've had 1 million people pitch them ideas on how they can be doing things, and they've never seen a platform that has the ability to do something like that. Obviously, for an experience that's that unique, they can charge higher price points for it as well. And the whole goal of it too is, not only to make the celebrities and stars that we have money, it's for the fans to be able to get like long-lasting experiences and lifetime memories out of this, right? Especially like some of the pre-recorded stuff that they get or personalized stuff that they get, like that's a digital keepsake in a sense. You'll have that for the rest of your life. Your favorite athlete or celebrity, you have Dennis Rodman or Lamar Odom, giving you advice about how to do something, or giving you a one-on-one lesson on how to, dribble the ball better or whatever it might be. Not only did you get to experience that in the moment, you get to keep that for the rest of your life, and it's a long-lasting memory that you have. That's kind of what our mission is with FanBasis overall too, is like to be able to facilitate, our customers and our fans with experiences that are extremely valuable to them.
And, just stemming off from, the beta testing and everything, like how did you really test the user experience and, app design? How did you, and I know you said, in a couple of weeks there's going to be some iterations to that. So what was that process like of testing and trying to really pinpoint, okay, well, our users are really, drawn to this and we should stick with this style? Yeah,
absolutely. So we developed a process around it over time. Basically, kind of the first step is it goes through our, we have a chief product and we have a CTO. It goes through both of them. The chief product designs the technology, CTO architects it, communicates that with our development team. at the end of the day, when you have a development team, kind of going back on your question, how the development process was, is if you have an outsourced development team, it's the same thing as kind of hiring like construction workers, right? If you just tell the construction workers to go and build a house, they'll build a house in the easiest way for them to do so. If you have an architect, you can build a mega mansion, and the construction workers are the ones that are doing the day-to-day work and actually putting in the effort to make it happen. But the architect is the one whose vision is really being completed there. So that's kind of how the initial part of the process works. Is chief of product and CTO are the best, most equipped to really make the end-all decisions on the product. At the end of the day, I have the executive say on everything, but I have people on my team that I trust to make those decisions on my behalf. And after they kind of go ahead and iterate the functionality, our whole team goes through it. Everyone tests the shit out of it, sees how many problems they can find, if there's any bugs, and what else we can be doing better to optimize our functionality so that it makes most sense for our clients and the fans that'll be purchasing it. Then after that, I've built a really solid advisory team, and advice to any entrepreneur out there: the advisors and mentors that you have are absolutely necessary and will be key to helping you grow over time. You might be happy at having a six-figure business right now, or a high five-figure business. How do you get to 7 figures? How do you get to 8 figures? How do you get to 9 figures? You need to have people that have already done that and achieved it, that can give you the advice on what it takes to get there. And and it's the same thing with us. I have every single person that's invested in my business so far is a strategic investor in one way or the other, either on the talent side or on the technology side or the business development side, whatever it might be. So the next step is for us to share it with all of our advisors, have them kind of go through that same process, give us as much feedback as possible, and then we do some focus group testing with existing clients that we have really close relationships with, some of the athletes, celebrities, influencers we work with. We try to get a couple people in every single different category of client that we work with, so that we can get really comprehensive, cohesive feedback. And then the way we're going to do this is kind of do a soft launch to a couple thousand of our users, and then do a full launch with a lot more of them after we kind of ironed out all the kinks in the product.
Right. Okay. And so now FanBasis has been around for some time now. How did you scale the business, and are there any sales and marketing tips that you'd give to our viewers?
Yeah. So basically what we've kind of done so far, and there's only so much I can say, is you really growth hacked the business. We've spent a very, very minimal amount on marketing. On growing our marketplace, we've actually spent almost no money on marketing in our platform. We've never paid an influencer or celebrity to join our platform. Everyone has joined because they see the value in in the product that we're delivering to them. Not only that, also in the team that we have and who they're going to be working with. We're able to convert clients easily from other platforms that they're using right now. One, because of the product. Two, because our customer service will always be the best, and that's that's something that I took inspiration from Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, and Jeff Bezos. If you look at their interviews, the one thing that all of them will say, and if you read their books, the one thing all of them will always say is focus on the customer, make sure the customer experience is phenomenal. You will never really be able to find a customer who has anything bad to say about us, because we ensure that everyone, by the time they walk away from their experience with FanBasis, the next thing they're thinking of is, what can I do next with FanBasis? And let me tell my friends about this, because of how great it was. And it's the same thing on the celebrity side. So it helped us really scale on that end too, where it's a marketplace, it's two-sided. We have customers essentially on both sides, the sellers and the buyers. Now, on top of that, I would say social media is extremely powerful. If you're not utilizing social media for your business, you are missing out on a whole market of people that you can easily be landing as clients. You know this better than anyone else. You can really growth hack users, especially on platforms like TikTok too. Most of our success has come from things like Instagram and Twitter, but TikTok especially, anyone can go viral in a day. There's businesses that have been completely changed overnight, and some of them are even mom and pop shops, or restaurants, local restaurants that video of them, blew up on TikTok, and now they have, thousands of customers coming every week, when they used to have no one coming. So, there's a tremendous amount of power there. When it comes to sales and marketing, my team on the sales side, they're all absolute killers. They're the best at what they do. and at the end of the day, like everyone on my team believes in the same exact vision. We all have the same exact goals for the company. We're all working to hit the same milestones. Even people that are working on like my growth, onboarding, and sales team, they want to make sure that the rest of the team is being held accountable for the other KPIs and milestones that we're looking to achieve by the end of the quarter or by the end of the month. And I think that kind of creating a company or a team that really is working towards the same objectives on a high level is super important. And I would say that's kind of the hack in itself is hiring people, and like it's something where we kind of made those mistakes when I was early on. It was like the first few people in the organization were not the best at what they do, or weren't working as hard as everyone else, didn't have the same exact goals in mind. And after we kind of cut the dead weight, it really made that's when the business really started taking off, and that's where we started seeing exponential growth month over month, because everyone was working towards the same thing. Everyone had the same vision for the product, and also kind of believed in me as the leader of the company, and saw what my goals were for the company, and wanted to be a part of the process there.
Right. Okay. And what was the process of creating partnerships with content creators and celebrities and sports stars and so forth? What was that process like?
Yeah, so it was, and when we first started, it was hard, and it took a while to really build a lot of those relationships. Like I said, we have spent $0 on marketing, so all of our, all of the success we've got so far is basically built from relationships that we've been able to develop. Some people on our team have helped, came into the business with relationships already developed, which was, obviously big value add. But at the end of the day, we've landed some partnerships that we weren't supposed to. Our company was too small to land those partnerships, and we made it happen because of the execution, abilities of our team. For example, we're partnered with the largest sports memorabilia wholesaler outside of Fanatics, and they've got relationships with tons of athletes. And basically, first when we first spoke to them, they're like, okay, this is a smaller startup. This is when we had a lot less traction than we do now. We're much bigger than them. These guys are doing millions a month. They're like, okay, I don't know how these guys are going to add value. So then I kind of came up with a concept, gave them a proposal, and within 2 days, they were doing an event a month from now. I don't want to reveal any details, but they were doing an event from a month of when we spoke. Within 2 days, I had a full website up. I had over 50 marketing materials already made. And essentially everything that we would need, a full marketing plan created around it, a full business plan for this one specific event. And we were able to, over triple the revenue that they did for this event. And, the execution that came into play, they're like, okay, now it makes no sense for us to not work with these guys because all they're doing is adding value. So I would say in every relationship, partnership we've built that's actually successful and long lasting, we've done kind of the same thing where, we've made sure that all the execution on our end is great. And the best relationships and partnerships we form is when it's reciprocated on the other side as well, and they're working the same way, and that's how you can make not only make a lot of money together, but also create like long-lasting relationships and partnerships. Like I said, like customer service is not just for the customers, it's also with the people that we deal with, the relationships that we build. No one will ever have anything bad to say about FanBasis or myself or anyone on my team, and that's kind of the way that I make sure that we do business.
And if you had to build an app from scratch, like all over again, would you have done anything differently?
Yeah, there's a million things I've done differently. At the end of the day, every company that you build, and I've spoken to people that have had 5, 8 and 9 figure exits before. They say every single company that you build, you will learn significantly more than the last one you built. It's all a new entrepreneurial journey in a sense. Unless you're literally creating the same exact product, right? So if I did it again, there's a lot of things I would, be able to do differently to where, I could have got us to the point we are right now within, 12 months, just with, one, the relationships I've formed, 2, with, what I've learned about the process of forming those relationships, the process of optimizing the products. There's a lot of testing that we do, a lot of different beta testing for features that, you're never going to see on our platform again because it didn't make sense for us to have them there. I would say just on kind of an advice perspective, I would say, a few things to keep in mind is make sure that you have someone technical, helping out with, if you're building an app of some sorts, a technical co-founder or, advisors in a sense, investors. And then on top of that, I would say, set really realistic goals for yourself. Make sure that you have, I mentor a lot of entrepreneurs as well. And first thing I make them do, and a lot of them, you'll be surprised, don't actually have this, is like set goals and milestones and timelines for what they want to build. And it's not going to happen. You're not going to hit it every single time. But when you do hit it, it's rewarding that you got there, and you keep getting yourself more motivated, your whole team more motivated.
Right.
So that's kind of what I would say, is make sure that you have a business plan made. Like, make sure you have you're not just, okay, I came up with this idea, let's get to work. Like, make sure you map it out, make sure it makes sense, do market research, be prepared, don't be lazy about it. And I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs kind of have a hurdle in the beginning, and then once they get that advice, they're able to overcome that and really start succeeding.
Right. And with that being said, like, what is the future of FanBasis? Like, where do you see, in the next few years, where do you see it going?
Yeah, so we've got a really exciting product roadmap coming up right now. I gave you kind of a sneak peek of some of the stuff we're working on. The other stuff I'm gonna wait until we launch it to be able to do a full launch with that. But essentially by the end of the year, one, we're gonna scale the whole talent side of our marketplace significantly, which obviously scales the fan side as well, just inherently, given that what we've built is essentially an influencer marketing machine in a sense. But on top of that, I want FanBasis to be a playground for fans. At the end of the day, we want to be the Amazon for digital experiences in a sense. And obviously we have those in-person experiences as well, but the focus is kind of on the digital side of things. So like I said, I want people coming to our platform at during the week, because we're hosting a digital event with their favorite celebrities, or with we're having a pay-per-view comedy show on our platform, and they can have the ability to hop on that comedy show for 2 minutes and get themselves roasted or their friend roasted. So doing really unique experiences like that, that money typically wasn't able to buy before, or was able to purchase in a different capacity, and making it much more accessible to people, where it's the work from home culture is not going away. People want to be able to have access to entertainment, and the attention spans of people are decreasing every day, with the short form content becoming the main thing that people consume now, and things of that nature. So it's kind of like not only feeding people that, but also at the end of the day, I want to facilitate cool experiences. I want everyone to have think of FanBasis as an amazing brand.
Thank you so much, Yash. It means a ton that you were a part of the show today. And for anyone viewing, please go check out FanBasis on the App Store. Definitely go check it out. It's an amazing app. And Yash, thank you so much for taking the time today. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Sean. I'm happy to be here, and I appreciate you taking the time as well.